Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. Do you want to build an awesome gaming computer but can't find a reasonably priced graphics card? You've come to the right place. This is an amazing value for the money. $100 less expensive than buying what's in this box individually. You get an MSI RX 580 8GB graphics card, 1080p high detail, 60 plus frames per second, all current games on the market, 100 frames a second for a lot of them, or 1440p, 60 frames per second at high detail for quite a few. Not all, but quite a few games. MSI's B350 Tomahawk full-size ATX motherboard, and last but not least, a Ryzen 5 1600 6-core 12-thread CPU and the Wraithspire cooler. $549, that is a deal. You cannot, at least when I'm recording this in May of 2018, buy these parts for that price individually. Now, linked down in the description below will be links to both Amazon and Newegg for this deal. If you're looking for a mid-range system, this is where the value is. Now, I realize that Ryzen 2 is out, and this is a Ryzen 1. Ryzen 2 is a little bit faster and a little bit nicer. But I have tested Ryzen 2 on both the 400 series and the 300 series board, and there's no substantial performance difference worth noting whatsoever. So don't think you have to have a 400 series to enjoy the benefits of that. And this is a great starter system. Maybe you'll wait till Ryzen 3 coming in 2019 and then maybe upgrade. So while Ryzen 2 is nice, this is a lot of value for the money, and it's worth taking a look at if you're looking for an RX 580 card that doesn't break the bank. First things first, let's take it out of the box and show you the good stuff. That's pretty cool. It actually is a combat crate inside the box. Easiest way to unbox, turn it upside down. And now we have it out of the box. AMD, all you need to game. They're not lying, actually. The truth of the matter is, I was recommending the Ryzen 5 1600 all last year with the included cooler, 3.7 gigahertz on all 6 cores, 12 threads. It works great. No need to mess around with voltages or custom overclock settings. Just set it to a 37 multiplier in the BIOS, press F10, save and reboot, and you're good to go. Anything from DDR4 2666 up to 3200 should work in this board or somewhere in between. It doesn't make a huge difference, a couple of percentage points. I have done a video on that, by the way, between 3200 and 2666. The average was a 1.8% performance difference. Not a big deal. The graphics card in here has 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and that's important. Now, 4 gigabytes is actually enough for 1080p gaming today, and it's mostly okay for 1440p gaming, but 8 gigabytes just gives you that much more future-proofing. If you have a FreeSync monitor and you've been looking for a deal on a video card, there you go. Now, the motherboard in here may not be top of the line, but it is also not their cheapest board either. The Tomahawk is their mid-range board with a lot of features. I have covered it previously in a review, so I'm not going to get into it in too much detail here, but what I will say is that the Tomahawk board that I used previously had no issues running a variety of RAM kits. It had no issues with overclocking the CPU. It's a very, very nice board. It retails for about $100, and it would be one of my recommended boards if you were buying all this standalone. Cool stuff inside the box. I do have to say, this is kind of cool packaging. They should do more of this stuff. It just slides right out of the side, just like so. And now we just have to cut the tape. That's interesting. Inside the box is a double-sided piece of paper, all you need to game, listing the stuff inside. Fair enough. For those of you curious, yes, there is a full retail boxed Ryzen 5 1600 CPU in here. You can see the CPU on the side. In fact, it's even sealed with a retail serial code, so it's not some OEM kit or something like just a bare CPU. It is a full retail box. And the video card is the same way. In fact, it's even shrink wrapped. It is a retail boxed RX 580 8GB graphics card. And then a standard retail boxed MSI B350 Tomahawk motherboard. And that's it. It's basically a box with 3 items. There was actually some packing material in there I took out, but otherwise, it's basically 3 retail items bundled for $549, which is less expensive than you can currently buy them. Right now, when I'm filming this on Amazon, this video card by itself is $350. This is $100, and then the CPU is 176, so it's a very nice savings, and it's a really nice balanced combination of parts. These are the sort of parts I would put together for a gaming machine. You can spend more. You can get a Ryzen 7. You can get a faster video card. You can get a Vega or a 1080 or 1080 Ti, and they're certainly nice to have, but in terms of dollars per performance given, this is the sweet spot within the business right now. Normally in a video like this, I would show you a bunch of gaming benchmarks and say, well, here's what the Ryzen 5 1600 can do, here's what an RX 580 can do, but honestly, I've covered those endlessly on my channel. There are a ton of Ryzen 5 1600 and a ton of RX 580 benchmarks on my channel already, so I really don't have to do any more of those. This video is all about the value here. Well, now you've heard the value. Links down in the description below to both Amazon and Newegg. If you're putting together a mid-range system, this is definitely worth considering. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I'm not going to do the motherboard because I've already covered the B350 on my channel, but I haven't covered an armor card, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up now and show it to you. Some people have asked in previous tweets and posts that I've made about this combat crate, which I have done before over on Twitter, what is the difference, plastic, what is the difference between the gaming and Gaming X cards and the armor card from MSI? Well, the gaming cards are red and this is black and white. The gaming cards have a little bit heftier cooler on them. They're also taller and a little bit longer and actually may not fit in as many cases. They are slightly nicer. In terms of out of the box performance, they're basically identical. Cooling wise, this might be a couple of degrees warmer than the gaming cards. It's not a huge deal. I actually have a RX 480 armor card. I never did a video on it because it came in an OEM system, but I've been using it for a while. It's just fine. Incidentally, if you were buying them standalone, and I've given this advice in the past, if you were buying them standalone and there's maybe a $20 price difference between an armor and a Gaming X, I'd buy the Gaming X if you like the red and it fits in your system. But given the price point of this kit, you'd spend a lot more than $20. You'd spend $100+ more to buy them standalone, so that's why this is such a good deal. Inside this box, you have a driver CD and a manual, which you won't use unless you want a free coaster. We have some foam. Thank you for choosing MSI. And then we have the video card. I know it's a video card, it's exciting. When you take the video card out of the package, there is a piece of plastic here. This is a 0 fan speed card. The fans don't turn when you're just in Windows. They only turn when you're gaming and the card heats up, meaning it is 100% silent when you're not actually in a game. And then when you're in a game and there's explosions going on, you'll never hear it anyway. There are 5 video out ports on this card. There is one dual-link DVI-D output for up to 1600p resolution. There are 2 DisplayPort 1.4s and 2 HDMI 2.0 ports. So, will this drive 3 4K monitors? Yes, it actually will. Should you? Well, not for gaming, of course. It will for just displaying windows or doing content creation. For gaming, yeah, no. But it will. It has a ton of video out options. Where the 2 HDMI ports come in handy is VR. If you have, say, an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive, one for your monitor, one for the VR headset, and you don't need to use an adapter. Single 8-pin PCI Express power connector. Make sure your power supply has one. You don't need a huge power supply for this. A 450 watt power supply would be plenty for this entire kit. 600 would be overkill. You could do it. So anywhere in that range would be just fine. Here you can see the back of the card. It's simply a black PCB. And then of course the fans on the front. I mentioned it's white and black, which some people like and some people don't, versus the red of the gaming. If you are interested in seeing my benchmarks of the Ryzen 5 1600 or the RX 580, I will link to some of those down in the video description below. They're not here because I've done them endlessly on my channel. These are, of course, not new parts. They came out in 2017. But what you are doing, at least in May of 2018 when I'm recording this, is getting a good value for the money. For $549, you get a retail CPU with the Wraithspire cooler. You get a very nice $100 B350 overclockable motherboard. You get a very nice 8GB RX 580 graphics card for a nice mid-range system. The only thing you really need to add, besides case, power supply, etc., I would put a 250 to 500 gig SSD. SATA is fine, it doesn't have to be NVMe, and I would put 16 gigs of RAM. DDR4 3200 is nice. 3000 or 2656 is also fine as well. I have done those tests. I did those last year. Very minor performance difference, all things considered. Like this video if you like it. Share it with your friends if you loved it. Remember to subscribe to my channel with that big, huge red button directly below. Questions and comments in the comment section. And as always, links in the video description. The links to Amazon and Newegg are affiliate links. They do support the channel. If you found this interesting, informative, helpful, useful, or just entertaining, please use those when shopping. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.